Okay, and we are back. A bit later than intended. 10 minutes later, really. Mainly because one of our cats was outside on the... I never know what to call it because it's not a courtyard, but like our patio, I guess. And I'd prefer if she would have come inside, because probably by the time I'm done streaming it will be dark, and if the door is still open, then who knows what will come inside in the manner of flies and mosquitoes or whatever. But she took some convincing, and then I noticed that there was one new subscriber. I don't know if it was from during the previous part of the stream, or if YouTube just took a day or so to update. In any case, there wasn't any alert that I noticed. So I assume the alert box is still not working as it should, and I really don't know why. I have my browser source set up with the correct link. I really don't know what could be going wrong. So it might be time to just contact Streamlabs and ask if there's something they can do, because I'm pretty sure, but I should check if the chat box is showing up on screen. If that also doesn't work, then yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. On the face of it, Streamlabs is easier to use, but there seem to be some issues with it. And with Stream Elements, which I also tried, I just don't like the way that's set up with the whole, like, you can't add individual widgets. It's just one overlay you have to create online with everything you want to show up, or everything you want to have show up on your screen. Like the chat box and the alert box and stuff, you have to set that up in one overlay and then add the overlay, if I understand correctly. Come on. This is not a place to get stuck. If I recall correctly, none of the alert boxes I ever tried in recent months, none of them worked. So I don't know what's up with that. I'd say I'd care less about the chat showing up on screen and more about the alert. So it's extra annoying that the chat thing does work. Anyway, hopefully if I contact Streamlabs they can sort it out. According to one person on Reddit, they might be able to fix it remotely. Even though I don't know how. Jesus Christ. It was a very dramatic knock, but not a very big one. So we left off with those metal beams that did not want to move. I'm gonna give it a college try with the P16. That should be able to at least get them out of their stuck position. If not, I don't know. If not, then I might just delete those beams and drag the trailer out so I can at least sell that for however much it costs, like a few thousands. Arguably not even worth it. Now that I'm actually in the P16 again, I seriously doubt that it would be able to take, or that it would be able to navigate that narrower path from the, what is it called, service station or something? From where the beams are to the drill site, like the southern path. I don't think that's gonna work. So the plan is as specified. Use the P16 to get the beams to that path, the southern path, and then use the Wet Western to take them the rest of the way. Best plan I can come up with. And just a note to myself, because I told myself I would do something but I forgot. I was gonna try and make my AMD adrenaline, whatever it's called, overlay. Make that show up on my second monitor, so it's not covering my game, but then I can monitor the temps a bit. So I'm not necessarily worried yet. But if I'm gonna be doing a lot of streaming in the summer when it gets really hot, I should probably keep an eye on it. Generally, nothing runs very hot. But that was mostly through winter. You know what? I think it's very risky and I shouldn't do it. But I think we could probably get that trailer up there. But it will be an absolute slog, so I much prefer to do it the way we said. There's the White Western, which I should move out of the way because I'm not going to be able to turn. Somewhere here, doesn't matter. Okay. Now I'm curious. Attach a trailer. Yeah, like absolutely no problem. Okay, I reckon somewhere here is enough. Can I maneuver out of the way? Okay. Can't switch from here. Probably should steal some fuel from the P16. Okay, refuel from P16 to White Western just a bit. I don't think I ever used, I mean, I rarely use this kind of trailer anyway, because I suck at reversing them. But I never used the ramp on this. And I'm wondering, like, the obvious thing is to put scouts or a scout on it to transport it between maps or something, but I kind of failed to see the point of that. Instead of just driving whatever vehicle you want to transport on the trailer, you could just drive it yourself. I suppose if you're doing rescue missions, that could come in handy, but then you have to like winch from the truck. Like, it's not like on the, what is it called, like the add-on with the rescue flatbed thing with the winch. That has a winch of its own, but this doesn't. I don't know. Okay, it's very slow going. But there shouldn't be any proper mud on this road. Except here. And here we want to go right, not along the very sideways banked stretch of dirt. I'm having a bit of a food coma. As usual, I made way too much. And I used to be kind of a problem actually, that I would always want to eat whatever was left. Like, I cleaned out pans for the sake of eating everything, not because I wanted to eat more, but just, I don't know, because I didn't want to waste anything, I guess. Of course, there are Tupperware containers. I'm aware of the concept that you can store leftover food. But it's always just easier to eat everything right away, which is not good. In recent years, I've been trying to just eat to when I'm full and no more. And more recently, I heard about, I don't know if that's a general Japanese thing, but the, like, if you want to call it a system or a rule, where you eat to where you're 80% full. To allow, I forget the exact wording that I read somewhere, but you know, just to allow the extra 20% that will fill you up after you're already done eating. Satiation. Right. Ideally, I'm not gonna get stuck here. It's not even actually mud, it's just dirt mostly. Difflocks help. And this will be 1 beams, 2 beams. Right. Stage complete. So now the oil rig drill. Again from here, it's kind of annoying because I can't really recover. This intrigues me. Is there supposed to be a path? I could just use a different truck, buy another trailer, or even more economically, put a low saddle on whatever truck, use this trailer. Don't really want to use the Fleet Star, I don't want to use the Kodiak or the GMC. So it's gonna have to be the White Western if we drive it all the way back, or the Royal. I think I'm gonna use the Royal. I wish I knew how much more stuff I need to do from or to Island Lake. Because this is the last thing for Dyson Diesel. Then there is this. Black River, Drummond's. I'm assuming this log station, like, it pointed specifically to this one, so I assume that's where we'll have to deliver all this. But it's all stuff we have to get somewhere else. So I think there's no real risk in recovering from here, because my only reservation was that we have the Royal here. If I recover this, and I would need to go to Island Lake again, we have to drive all the way back out here. Yeah. With the half prospect that we will be selling the Royal, at least when we have the upgrades for the Paystar. Should probably just use the Royal a bit more now that I still can. Low saddle. Then hitch this guy. Now to the service station, pick up the drill, and follow the same route we have done a dozen times. I have to say I'm a bit nervous to purchase any new truck. There are trucks I would like to buy. But yeah, with the 50% sell prices, it feels like a much bigger decision. Which it is, I suppose. If you're gonna buy anything, you kind of have to use it. Or at least you don't have to use it, but you can't really sell it. At least not until you have enough money to fund another truck. None of what I'm saying is making any sense to me. I hope it's making an ounce of sense to you. That struggle with the metal beams does make me wonder if it makes any difference. Like, say you have any truck with a low saddle. Oh no. I caught myself in a stupid, logic. So I was gonna say, if it makes any difference if you attach a semi-trailer versus pulling it, as in winching it, but you can't winch semi-trailers. The only valid comparison would be, or somewhat valid question would be, if it makes any difference if you're, like, if it's a semi-trailer like this one versus like the sideboards. No, there isn't a 4-slot sideboards attach trailer, 4-wheel trailer. So like this semi versus that ramped flatbed. Is there any difference in how difficult either of them is to pull? I don't know. Kinda missing diff locks more and more. I have grown to love the Royal platonically. It's a cool looking truck. It's been very useful and capable throughout Michigan for as long as we've been using it. But, I am curious how much better the Paystar would do. It's gonna be difficult to choose between the Paystar, which I don't really know very well, and the Freightliner 114S. I keep telling myself that I should check what it's actually called, because I never remember. (114S) or 114SD, I don't really know. It's currently almost 8 my wife said she would be back around or after 10. Not that I will have to stop streaming as soon as she's home, but you know, if she will want to go to bed right away, which is rare, you know, that might be when I will have to stop for today. Even when she's home late from a wedding, she tends to start doing some of the selection and stuff right away after she gets home. Which reminds me, apologies, but I told myself I would text her to ask if everything's okay. I'm surprised Rucola is upstairs here with me. Like I mentioned, it's kind of a sweat box up here. I would think that she would prefer to be downstairs, where it's like 10 degrees cooler. Not 10, but like 5 to 7 at least. Especially because she's the furrier one of our two cats. We never really have to. I suppose we kind of do, but Limonka is much more short-furred. Like a normal house cat. But Rucola is like more fluffy in more ways than one. It's impossible to put her on a diet, really. We have 2 automatic feeders which go off at slightly different times. But Limonka doesn't seem to respond to the feeders. Like, we can hear the food falling out into the metal bowls, but when it's feeding time, she doesn't really move until like half an hour later, by which point half of it, if not more, is already gone because Rucola ate everything from both bowls. And then Limonka, whenever you're in the kitchen, she comes begging for food. And then we give her a small portion of which she only eats half. And then Rokola eats the other half. So she eats like more than twice as much as she should. I was wondering what this thing is, because it wasn't here before. It's part of the new construction. Oh. Okay. Too much clutter. I don't really know where you're supposed to leave all of this. I feel like the radius to switch trucks should be a bit bigger. Let's get this guy around this way. What are you doing? I feel like this should be enough. Now does it work? Nope. Oh, okay. It's because the trailer is inside the yellow square. Yeah, see, that's a problem. Might be able to reverse. No. Damn it. Feels like there might be a storm. It's that kind of weather. It's very humid, like a bit overcast. I wouldn't mind a storm. Might be some thunder. Okay, technically this should be fine. Yeah, okay. 11K for this one job. Good stuff. So that's all of Dyson Diesel things done. So just 3 more normal contracts and then all the logging. Is there a reason not to just do them in order? Delivered to the warehouse. Might be raining. keep an eye on it. The window is still open for heat purposes. I mean, for cooling purposes. So this needs to go where? Drummond, I guess. No. Oh, okay. Wrong way round. That's the huge thing, container thing, that you have to pick up here by the ship, where suddenly there is another task. Okay, so that's from there. That'll be very tricky. I mean, really just this part will be tricky. And I have to plan that out as best as I can. And then cement for the region. Cement is not here, has to go there. Two cement to the log station. Two cement to the warehouse in Black River. Another two to the quarry. No, from the quarry to this warehouse. And two to Island Lake. So we're definitely gonna want to get as many pieces of cement out of the quarry in one go. It's not necessarily true. You could do it 2 bits at a time, like just on a normal 2-slot bed. That's the easier way, but it takes a lot longer. So I think, wait, with a semi-trailer you can go just the long way round to there. And then back out the way you came in, pretty much. I don't know how much power it takes to drive up this way, because if I could, I would prefer to like go down the normal way. Pick up the stuff, drive up the sides and out. But it's been too long and I don't really know how much power you need for that. Because then to Black River it doesn't really matter, you can just take 2. Is there a 6-slot bed you could use? Again, wildly overthinking this. You have to take 2 up here anyway. And you have to take 2 more to Drummond. But then you would still have to go like from the top to the bottom, which isn't that long, but still. Alternatively, you could take 2 to Black River, 2 to the warehouse, and then 4 to Island Lake, drop those off. And then take the other gate from Island Lake to Drummond. I think that makes more sense. I'm really bad at planning. I kind of enjoy the logistical, like the puzzle side of this game, of trying to figure out the most efficient way to do things. But the thing is, in the end, it doesn't matter which route you take in most cases. Or it doesn't matter, it matters which route you take, but it doesn't really matter how you deliver everything. Bottom line is I spend more time planning than actually just moving. And by the time I finish planning everything, I could have already delivered 1 load. That's basically it. But I think I do want to take the Royal for this. It's possible I tried to do quarry stuff in the Royal and it went kind of sideways. If I did, I forgot, and I'm about to do it again. Generally, I do prefer to not use trailers at all, unless there are very easy roads and just like paved roads or solid dirt roads. All other conditions just tend to make things worse for trailers. Worse than it's worth struggling with. I'm tempted to take the Fleet Star with just flatbeds. For the 2 cement we have to take to Black River. I know the P16 wouldn't struggle with 4 cement. I think it stopped raining. I feel like I don't have my head on straight. To cement to Black River, that's not the issue. I have to choose if I want to take two to Island Lake and then 4 to the warehouse and to Drummond Island. Or if I want to take 2 to the warehouse and then 4 through the swamp to Island Lake. And from Island Lake, the remaining 2 to Drummond. Because then we'd enter Drummond closer to the place we have to be. Why are you struggling so much? We just took this exact trailer with a heavy drill thing through here with basically no issues. So I think what it boils down to is, do I want to take 4 cement through the swamp here in Smithville? Or do I want to take 4 cement from the top of Drummond Island to the bottom? It's a more difficult question. If we would take the P16 through the swamp, how would we do that? Would it be very risky, is the problem. I mean, is the question. Because if we, like, very alternatively, if we would get 6 cement out of the quarry somehow for 1 trailer, could we then take those through the swamp to avoid maneuvering such a long trailer on this road? Like, through the swamp to Island Lake, then we come out here, can deliver here, and then we pass on to Drummond, then we end up here. And then we can just drop them here. Is that a horrible plan? I shall recover. Did I have low saddle? Yeah. Don't know how I missed it. I just want to see trailer options. Because there is a reason I never really use anything bigger than a 5-slot semi-trailer. This is 4. Alternatively, a 2-slot bed on a truck plus this ramped 4-slot. Or indeed, where is it? Why does this have so little options? This is only 2, so that's not an option. Oh, I don't know how I skipped this. This is the only trailer with 6 slots. Everything else is 5, which is not enough. Or this one, which I don't want to deal with. It is kind of expensive. And I feel like it's probably not the best choice. I'm trying to picture it because it's kind of hard to imagine. This is, like, just in terms of length, this ramped 4-slot, if I line up the camera in any way that I can, which I can't really do. Hang on. This is getting a bit stupid. No, that's not gonna work. So just try to remember the ramped flatbed goes to there. It's not that much longer. I'm not gonna go into the quarry with this, obviously, just I need more light. Like now that lines up with the barrier like that. I'm spending a stupid amount of time thinking about this. Even this turn is probably not a good idea, so I think the P16 is just not the right choice for this. So we will take to cement to Black River. To cement to Island Lake. 4 cement to the warehouse and then the remaining 2 to Drummond Island, the longer way. Whew. Apologies, this was really not my finest moment. Which truck do I want to use? I think the White Western for the Smithville and Drummond deliveries, and probably the Royal for the 2 individual ones. I'm becoming mindful that I'm not really using the Fleet Star as much as I would like. Yeah, I'll do it properly. I was thinking to leave this trailer just here, but let's drive it back to the garage and leave it there. I'm not gonna sell it just yet, because surely we will need it for something else. And then actually, doesn't matter, just pick a plan and stick to it. As my room gets a bit dark and I turn progressively more orange. I've been thinking about buying a better webcam. It's not necessarily easy. Because this is, in case you're wondering, this is a Logitech C270. Which was very average by 2017 standards. Never mind 2026 standards. But I don't really feel like, nor do I have the cash to fork out for whatever they're called. I forget the specific products. Like an Elgato Stream Cam or whatever. What is it? Brio? I think that's a Microsoft thing. Skillfully reversed, dare I say. Detach, recover. The ones I am considering are, I suppose, the classics of C920 or C922. Just making sure I don't actually have to crane anything. No. Interrupting myself again. To finish my thought about the webcams very quick. I don't know if the difference would be very noticeable from the one I have now. And they're still kind of expensive for what they are. think maybe it makes sense to park the White Western with trailer here. And use the Royal or whatever other truck with crane to get the cement out of the quarry and onto the trailer. Then we don't have to take the trailer into the quarry, which is always kind of a pain. In which case we'll have to drive back, which I may or may not have enough fuel for. I actually wasn't finished about the webcams. I know many people say you can just use your phone as a webcam, but one, I don't like to use my phone like when my phone would be on webcam duty. I can't really use it, or I can't reach for it if I need to look something up, or if someone calls my wife, for instance. I'm just gonna start calling her Anna from now on, because I feel kind of stupid always referring to her as my wife, which she is, and happily so. But I always think that if I just talk about Anna, not everyone will know who I'm talking about. So. Anyway. So, yeah. The phone thing is kind of out. Do I want to go through here? Do I want to? Yes. Should I? Probably not. The kind of stupid thing is that I do have a nice camera. Like a mirrorless. Nothing too fancy. Probably the cheapest one that seemed good. A Panasonic. No, not Panasonic. What the hell is the brand of my camera? Lumix. I'm sure it's Panasonic. But I would definitely need some kind of power, a continuous power solution for it, which are not necessarily easy to get because it's kind of an older camera, I think. Lumix G7. So I would need to sort out the power, definitely. And then I would need some kind of camera link thing to connect it to my PC. And all of that is just a bit of a faff. If I could just either keep using my current webcam, which is okay, but nothing more. To be fair, my lighting situation is very suboptimal, so that doesn't help. But I'm not really in a position to change much about that now. In terms of space, and also we're moving out in 6 months at the latest. So I don't really want to start setting up a whole construction with whatever kind of soft boxes or LEDs or just lamps, lights generally. But yeah, as I said, I'd much prefer to just use a USB webcam which doesn't need any weird positioning or setup. All of that said, if I were able to use my Lumix in a practical way, I would, because I think, like, the question is, does it matter? Like, does webcam quality really matter that much? If the streams are qualitatively as good as mine, for better or worse. Should webcam be a priority? That's questionable. Yeah, it's really a cost-benefit situation. I could spend €300 on a camera, which then still wouldn't look any better because my lighting situation is not that great. I could buy all the paraphernalia for my mirrorless to use that as my face cam, which should look the best objectively, again with the right lighting. In short, I'm just a bit worried to spend any kind of significant money on a webcam right now. I'll have to see what I can do lighting wise in the new place, because there, to begin with, I will have my own room for all my music stuff and my desk, so I can do pretty much whatever I want. Speaking of light, it's getting really kind of dark. But if I turn on the light, I'll have to close the window, otherwise bugs will start flooding in. And it's still kind of hot, so I think At least until the point where my PC will start attracting bugs in the dark, which has happened. I'd like to leave the window open for general breathing purposes. Gonna be a bit close in terms of fuel. I thought about it, but I forgot to mention that since we're gonna be using the White Western with that semi-trailer, I could have just left the semi-trailer by the farm as I initially was planning to do, instead of taking it back to the garage. It still has the high saddle, right? Fairly sure. And okay. Sell this. Recover. Put on the low saddle. If I have the crane on this, I won't need to have the crane on the Royal, which is what I would prefer. Because Royal with crane in the quarry with kind of heavy cargo is just a bit of a recipe to go sideways. So now where is the Royal? Oh, okay. Ideally, I'd like to take both trucks at once in tandem. It's gonna be slightly risky, but they're just, come on. Okay, so we hook up that semi-trailer. I don't know if it will make a difference which truck is in front. I reckon the White Western should be behind. Okay, winch. The White Western is running. I probably will want to do that sharp turn on the dam separately. Oh, come on. Every time. Of course, the downside of having the crane on the White Western is that it's like if it were on the Royal, it would be a bit easier to load up the semi-trailer. Because I could position the Royal further behind the trailer, like further back. Because now when we crane stuff with the White Western to the semi-trailer, I'm gonna have to like put it in the front of the semi and then push it back so it can all fit. Because the crane cannot reach all the way to the back of the trailer. It's a small niggle. Thing with bugs, like we have a mesh thing in front of the window, like it's a, what is it called? Is it called a skylight in English? A window in the roof. And the previous tenants, they installed some kind of a bit jank solution with some magnets around the window frame, and then just a sheet of mesh with magnets attached to that, and then the magnets just attached to themselves, obviously, as magnets do. Why am I explaining magnets? The depths of my insanity. No bounds. Okay. Bit bouncy, but fine. Did I take damage? The thing is, there are pretty substantial gaps all the way around the mesh. Because it's hanging on an angle. It kind of sags in between the magnets, thus creating gaps where pretty much anything can still pass through. But we just kind of assume that some passers-by that get into the window make it back out of the window before they make it past the mesh. It's pretty much the deal. Moose. Would be fun if there were moose, or just wildlife in general, except the occasional wolf. Alright, so yeah, might as well be here. We'll turn off the White Western remotely and then go get that first load of cement. Could have left a bit more space. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was wondering why it was struggling so much. Now we can reverse a bit so we can get the royal out a bit more easily. Just a bit further. Okay, it's not at all what I wanted to do. Yeah. Should be fine. Take two. I think I'm just gonna close the window and turn on the light for a sec. I mean, not for a sec. Quickly. Okay. Not gonna go down here. I'm actually curious to see if we could take the shortcut out. I have a feeling the lack of diff locks is gonna be pretty apparent. I'm not gonna reverse down there. Let's try to not take shortcuts that don't really help. Yeah, this is where I would want to go up. Or here. But preferably the first one. I am rushing just a bit. Okay. 1 cement, 2 cement. Let's do Black River first. I'm not gonna bother trying that shortcut up the side. This is such a sneaky turn. It's pretty much impossible to do it right the first time. But on the way down, like, it's weird how some spots are significantly more difficult in one direction than the other. Which I think is due to, like, on the way down you take a certain line which usually works. And I feel like the mistake is that you try to take the same line on the way out. Which is usually not how it works. Like, the same line doesn't always work in both directions. I'm thinking I should have at least went up the other proper exit. It's not even a shortcut, just the other way. So I'm not a huge fan of this intersection. Slight change of plan once again. Oops. That was a bit scary. I think I want to at least load up the whole semi-trailer, or the necessary things for the semi-trailer. Not all 5 slots, just the 4 we need for Drummond and this warehouse. I mean, there is just one warehouse. Yeah. I don't think you can hear, but it's raining. It's a random thing to say, but I can't remember the last time it rained. I'm sure it has rained recently, just I don't remember. Okay, unpack, turn this off. Crane mode. Sucks a bit for the wedding couple. Although I assume at this point they'll probably be inside for whatever dance party they're having. Okay. Push those back. That should be enough space for the other two. Back to the Royal. Shouldn't need to refuel just yet, but the next time, like after we're done loading up the semi and then gotten the 2 cement for Black River out, we should probably refuel. Which is convenient because the Transtar is still parked just here. And now I think I do want to go down this way just to save a bit of time. That can very quickly end badly. It's a very awkward turn. You're probably not even supposed to go this way, just when you're at the dock and you go up this way, then you can come back out the way we just came down, which I will do this time. It does save quite a bit of, you know, in other words, it is much shorter than the way we went the first time. Okay, 2 more cements. There isn't a limitation, is there? No. I don't know where else you would get cement in Michigan. Not gonna try the shortcut. With diff locks I would have. Without, it's just, I think it's gonna stall. Okay. Like so. Could probably drive out here as well, but that doesn't really save any time, I think. A bit bouncy. Okay, and then yeah, tiny knock. But it's fine. Maybe not go in high gear for this. Okay, same deal. Unpack, stop engine, change to the White Western, crane mode, no, start engine, crane mode. So one, and that is almost two. Right. Pack those. Oh, manually load at least 4 standard cargo units in your truck, one after the other. Okay. Restore crane. Stop engine. Do I need to reload or refuel? Should be fine. Although we could just as well deliver the ones to Island Lake first. No, let's do Black River first. Almost said Black Badger. We haven't been to Black River in quite a long time. It's not really true. We went there a few streams ago just to pick up that maintenance trailer. Okay, now if I can make this turn a bit wider. And smash my engine. It's kind of weird weather. It's raining a bit and there's some rumbling. which, if I think about it, is kind of classic Belgian summer weather. Because it gets pretty hot pretty fast. Like, one day it's still pretty much spring, like 15 degrees or so. And a week later, we're getting close to 30 degrees, or at least mid-20s. And that's a thing people used to say. I don't know, like, it doesn't sound like a correct way to say it. That Belgium can't handle weather like that where it suddenly gets hot. Because then it gets very humid, and then there are these minor thunderstorms. With just a bit of drizzle and some rumbling in the distance, but no actual lightning. Okay, we are basically out. The worst weather I have been in ever was in Belgium, actually. I don't know where else it would have been. Like, we never had properly bad weather on any holiday that I can remember. But there was a festival in 2011 which I attended with my then girlfriend, and almost exactly over the festival site there was a supercell storm on the first night of the festival. I know. It wasn't really night yet, like the first day of the festival. We were there a day early, as you tend to do if you're going all days. You get there the day before, spend the night there, and then the next day is the first official day of the festival. And that's when that storm happened. It's like green sky, and pretty intense hail, and of course kind of tornado-like winds. There might still be footage on YouTube. In case you would be curious, if you search for Pukkelpop 2011 storm or something. Like, just footage, phone footage of tents flying off into the distance. few people did get killed, so it was a serious thing. And like at least one stage kind of collapsed. Like there's one, no, there, I don't remember exactly what, did I miss? Every time I drive past the road. Yeah, there was one tent stage that at least partly collapsed with a lot of people inside. If I recall correctly, I don't think that's where one of the incidents happened. Apologies, just had to click something in OBS. Okay, now we're getting some lightning. I was getting a bit paranoid during thunderstorms that my PC is gonna crash, like that the power will go out and my PC will get fried. Okay, there goes that sign. Quite a bit of noise that I can't exactly place. Because there's the rain on the window, obviously. But then some other noise, I don't know if it's the building, the construction site across the street. Which just sounds different. And it's the first time it's properly rained since they finished the main construction. Okay, 2 cement. Then, yeah, I mean, we might as well deliver the ones to Island Lake now that we're in the Royal still. It's hard to say how much you can hear, and I hope it's not, like if you can hear it, I hope it doesn't cut in and out as I talk. Hang on. Apologies, just checking the forecast, like the radar thing, precipitation radar, whatever you call it in English. The raindar, if you will. Badumts. It's actually getting pretty intense. It's a good thing I convinced Rucola to go in instead of leaving her outside before I closed the door. According to the radar, it should only last like 20 minutes or so. But it's flashing quite a bit. Is the flatbed supposed to be misaligned, or is that actual damage? I don't know how I would have damaged it like that. I just knocked the suspension and the engine. Thinking if I should stop for a bit. Oh, sorry, man. Apologies if you messaged a long time ago. I don't know if my chat alert thing, the sound, is also not working properly. But yeah, I'm good. Hope you are too. It's possible I didn't hear the chat alert because I'm wearing open back headphones and it's raining pretty hard outside and I can barely hear the game. got quite a bit done today. Like, this is... we're 2 hours into this stream. I streamed for another 4 hours earlier today. So it's been busy. We did the other construction rig, the one you have to take from the port in Drummond to the drilling site here. Wait. What did we do? Can't really check, but I think maybe instruments of development. I forget if I did that already, but harbor delivery, probably. Yeah, there was one of those container things from Island Lake to the harbor. Out with the old, we did winter stores, lumber mill revival, power lines. I think that's it. And now the cement one. I consciously postponed the one where you have to take the oversized thing from the ship in Drummond to wherever. I think that goes to the warehouse or the factory here in Smithville. Didn't really want to mess with that just yet. Jesus. Bouncy castle. No reverse. Jesus. Very often I don't quite get into reverse. And then I'm into auto and I think I'm going backwards, but I'm going forwards. Straight off a cliff. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. I don't think there were any real issues, like big catastrophes. The most annoying thing was that for whatever contract, I forget, but here used to be a trailer with 2 metal beams which needed to go here. I tried that in the past with the Royal and the trailer just wouldn't budge because it's like sunk in mud. So I tried again earlier with the White Western, but same deal, it just wouldn't really move. So I had to drive the P16 out here to get it from here to there, and then switch to the White Western here to take it through here, which I wasn't sure if the P16 would be too big for. Yeah, I spent way too long trying to get it going, like trying to move those beams with the White Western right at the end of the first part of the stream before dinner. It was like 20 minutes or so. Classic stubbornness. the rain seems to have calmed down a bit. Still some rumbling. And as for the stream itself, it's been pretty quiet. Like, some lurkers. As always, I don't monitor my viewers or viewer count, whatever. So it's hard to say how long people stayed for, but you know, kind of a slow day. There's a chance I will do a few more hours tomorrow, depending on where my wife will choose to sleep. She'll be home pretty late from work. I went totally the wrong way. Not totally, but I have to go to Island Lake. And she'll be home pretty late. Maybe she'll want to go straight to bed. More likely she will still do a bit of work after she gets home. And then 9 out of 10 she'll just sleep on the couch. If she sleeps on the couch, no, if she will come to bed, actually. She probably won't be up very early, which might affect if I can stream at all tomorrow, because my desk is in the bedroom. As much as she says she doesn't mind when I record or stream when she's in bed, I get a bit self-conscious, which is weird because she's my wife. But for some reason, I don't know, it makes me a bit self-conscious. And if she'll sleep on the couch, like, there's no real reason she would be upstairs tomorrow. I feel like I'm over-explaining again. But enough about me, really. How are you? I saw your Ashes thing. I forget the title of the game, but the climbing horror thing. It was a pretty interesting game, to say the least. Couldn't help but laugh, or chuckle at least, every time some poo came out. Something, especially Jeremy Clarkson, maybe the other two as well, That's something I associate with Jeremy, specifically. Don't get stuck now. It's kind of disappointing. Every time I have to go through the swamp, I think about trying a different route, like a more straight route instead of following the roads, or what has to pass for a road. Because it's quite a bit more windy, but it just feels safer. Yeah. I'm not much of a horror gamer. Which is weird, I guess, because I do like horror movies, films. If I were pressed to name my top 5 or whatever favorite movies, most of them would probably be horrors. But horror games I tend to struggle with more because it's, I don't know. I guess with movies I can distance myself more, as opposed to games where you're really in it. Oh yeah, same. Every time there's a jump scare in a movie, my wife is more scared by my jump scare than by the movie. Or, you know what I mean, but she gets startled by my reaction to the jump scare. Which is rarely vocal, it's just I really physically jump. Trying to think of horror games I played at all. Alien Isolation is probably the most notable one. That was a long time ago though. I regularly think that I should replay that game. But it hasn't happened yet. Little Nightmares most recently. I think that classifies as horror. I finished the main game of the first game, and the big DLC. I don't know if there are more than one DLC, but it felt like just one, like an additional story with a different character. And actually, the DLC is way scarier than the main game. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that here. Now back to Smithville. White Western. Yeah. Maybe even more, or maybe it's even worse for me if it's a horror sequence in a non-horror game. I'm trying to think of an example, but it's too difficult. But I'm sure in Red Dead Redemption 2 there were at least a few scenes or like missions that are kind of creepy. I did play Resident Evil 5 and 6 co-op with a friend. That was pretty fun, actually. Fond memories of just staying up till 3 or 4 playing those games. But they're not so much scary as they are horrifying, if that makes sense. I think I've seen more horror games than I've played. Like the PT demo thing. Outlast 1 and 2. Resident Evil 7. Like, I'll watch those games. Probably mostly PewDiePie's Let's Plays back in the day. Back in day, in my best northern English accent, which I can't do very well. Yeah, not many horror games. Again, maybe it's because I can distance myself from it more if I watch someone play it. Whereas if I would play it myself, depending on how scary it really is, it could actually affect me. But then again, there are several horror movies that also affected me significantly for at least a week or so. Yeah, it's true. And maybe I'm just, like, I'm overanalyzing, but I feel like horror games tend to be more memorable if you play them yourself, just because they're so intense and like emotions are elevated. Like in Alien Isolation, it's one of my most memorable gaming experiences because it was so terrifying. And I'm pretty sure I played it after I watched PewDiePie's Let's Play. And it was still really intense. But like the relief of making it through a sequence to the next save point or whatever. Like in Alien Isolation, there's physical save stations in the game, and you can only save there. So, you know, the relief when you make it to one of those stations is really, really intense. Somehow I did not mess up this turn with the construction rig. Pretty proud of that. I did get a bit stuck on this curve. I like to think most people get stuck there. And yeah, it seems my chat alert sound thing is not working properly. Hang on. I think I know what the problem is. Apologies for this once again. But in a way it's easier to mess with it now that I can check it on stream. It's possible it doesn't work because I don't have the plugin downloaded. I'm not gonna do that now. But yeah, I have to make... If you could write something, anything now, just to see if it shows up on screen. Because if that doesn't work, you know, then it's probably the fact that I don't have the Streamlabs plugin downloaded. Okay, it does show up. Interesting. Subscriber thing is enabled. If I test it real quick, YouTube subscriber. Infested. That works. Hard to say if it's too loud. Hopefully not. Chat box. Notifications enabled. Now that should work, I hope. Control audio via OBS, yeah. Should I do refresh browser when scene becomes active? Maybe refresh cache, I don't know. The issue I had, sorry this is very boring, but the issue I had earlier was that when someone wrote something, I would hear the alert sound twice. Okay, there's one last thing I need to check. Streamlabs alert box active, monitor and output. Okay, now the sound worked, so that's good. Chat box, monitor only, alert box. I want to hear that, and you should hear that, so I'm really confused. This is so stupid. If I monitor and output, that should be it. Because if monitor off, then I won't hear it. If monitor only, then you won't hear it. Yeah, sorry. Your question was, has streaming often helped your channel grow much? It's kind of hard to say, because can you move? Because like, it does seem like there are new subscribers a bit more frequently. Like there have been times where it was one per week or one every few days. Now it's a bit more frequently, but it's hard to say from where those subscribers come. I know I can check all that stuff in the analytics, but I don't go in depth as much as I maybe should, because it's easy to check and then I would know for sure. But because there it does say what, like there's a timeline with new subscribers and it does say what video they were watching when they subscribed. So I'd have to check there if streaming has earned me a lot of new subscribers. Definitely some. Like some people, some viewers who were chatting and they said they subscribed then during the stream. Also in terms of watch hours, I feel like it does help quite a bit, because my videos are kind of all over the place. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Too much talking, not enough paying attention. Because I have to deliver those two of those cements here, which this is a bit reckless. Hang on. My streams definitely get more views, or they get more views in a shorter time than the videos, if that makes sense. Like my videos, they kind of, I feel like they peak after a week or so, and the streams, say if it's 20 views for one stream total, usually in the week after there will be 20 views more, so like from the VOD. Long story short, yes, I think it does help. I think currently I do enjoy streaming a bit more than the videos as well. The games I am/was playing kind of slowed down quite a bit, like Cairn doesn't get that many views, or as many views as it did at first. Same with Lonely Mountains Downhill. So for videos I try to focus more on session right now. Just because more people seem to like that game, or seem to watch those videos. But mainly, I think I started talking about this, but I got sidetracked. I feel like the streams help the most with watch hours for me at this point in time. Because I'm still kind of grinding towards the 4,000 watch hours. Because that's the final thing I have to reach to be eligible for the full partnership thing. Which I'm not sure I'm gonna do right away, but just, you know. That's the main thing I check when I check my, when I check my channel, how it's doing. And it kind of makes sense, because, if people, if so, I promise I didn't drink. Oh, right. I forgot I parked this trailer here. If someone tunes into a stream and they like it and they stick around for most of it, like you tend to do, for which I'm very grateful, of course, like, then that's 2 hours or so gained in one go. Whereas with the videos, people don't tend to watch my videos for very long. I assume they're all new people. Like if 10 people watch the first minute or so of a video, even though that counts as 10 views, technically, it's still only 5 minutes of watch time, which is pretty insignificant. If we're counting towards 4,000 hours. Yeah, I will say, purely for subscribers, shorts did help a lot. I don't make shorts anymore. There was like a few months last year, towards the end of last year, where I started posting 1, sometimes 2 shorts most days, but they were all just gameplay. You know, I was pretty heavily invested in Skate, the game. So I was just cutting up videos to make shorts of interesting, or, you know, the best tricks and stuff from videos I had made before. I would make those into shorts and post them pretty often. And in those few months, I think I gained like 100 subscribers or so, which doesn't seem like much. It isn't that much compared to big channels, but for me it's quite a bit, since my subscribers tend to like be more of a trickle thing. Like 1 a day, 1 every few days. Used to be 1 every 2 weeks or so. None of this is meant as a complaint, just for the record. I don't know how it comes across to talk about stuff like this, because I feel like not many people talk about it openly, unless they're already very big channels. But what I forgot to mention about those shorts, even though they did help with subscribers, it's very likely that those subscribers, most of them, weren't interested in the ASMR side of what I make, because those shorts were just gameplay and no commentary, except very rarely. So yeah, I have been losing some subscribers. It's possible those are bots. It's equally likely those were subscribers from those shorts who found out that I make this kind of content, like the soft-spoken kind of thing. Yeah, I'm gonna try and cut through here. And then when they found out like my actual content, I can imagine they got turned off and just instantly unsubscribed. Yeah, I see bigger ASMR channels post shorts. I can't say if that helps them, but I can see... Oh, nice. 22k. I can see if your content is the same, or if your shorts are the same as your normal videos, just shorter. In other words, if they accurately represent your real content. Like, I don't see how that could be bad. Then again, I personally am not interested in ASMR shorts, because why would I watch any of that? There is one channel specifically, Osley ASMR. I do see some of her shorts pass by, which are like behind the scenes stuff. To be fair, I'd never watched any of them, so I don't know what they're like, but like that kind of behind the scenes stuff, I can see how that would work, but actual ASMR videos in shorts, in short form, I don't really see the point, which is a big reason why I don't make them. Anyway, did my wife give an ETA yet? Not as such. She has not read my message from earlier. It's very likely she'll stay later. She has a thing. I mean, this is very sidetracked and not relevant to the game, or even to YouTube, but she's a wedding photographer. If a couple books her for 12 hours for their wedding, and on the day they decide they need her an hour longer or 2 hours or whatever, that is possible for an upcharge. Okay, what next? Dyson was all finished. Husky is this monstrosity, which I guess I could try now. We're here with the White Western with an appropriate trailer. I don't think I want to try this in the twin steer. Just doesn't sound like a good idea, so might as well do this now, get it over with. And you are here, so if I mess up, or if I'm about to mess up, you can give assistance, provide assistance, if you have any. Not assistance, just input. If this is a terrible idea already, with the White Western, with this kind of trailer, please say so now. Oh no, and it's 2 of those. Wait, oversized cargo. Does that mean 2 4-slot containers? Earlier I said that this big construction trailer from the port to Smithville is the most difficult thing, and that generally those 2 big rig things are the most difficult things in Michigan. At this point I would like to take that back and say that this is the worst one. Yeah, I do watch quite a bit of shorts, just if they look interesting I watch them, but they're almost never ASMR. In fact, they are never ASMR, just always guitar related stuff, or, you know, even random things that have nothing to do with anything I'm subscribed to. Why does it have to be 2? I was willing to struggle to take 1 container, but now I have to do it in 2 goes because there's no way I'm dealing with an 8-slot trailer. Let's just get it over with. I may not have time to finish this. Depending on when Anna will be home. She might be home suddenly without letting me know when she will be home. It's already kind of late. So let's say I want to at least try and get 1 container from the pickup point to the main road. I heard a loud crashing noise on the right side somewhere. Do you reckon it's possible to take both containers? Like, once you get them to the main road, can you put both on 1 8-slot trailer and then deliver both in the same trip? Preferably without too much struggle. I'm really hoping I'm misunderstanding what I'm supposed to do, and it's just one thing, but it says 2 oversized cargo, and the map says each oversized cargo is 4 slots, so I'm probably not mistaken. It is 2. Ugh. Yeah, that's what I figured. I just don't really want to, like, it's the deceptive thing that 1 slightly more difficult trip will be better than 2 easier trips. That's the logical fallacy. I forget how I tried this the first time on PlayStation. I had to do it in 2 goes because I did get, like, unrecoverably stuck the first time. But I forget how I ended up completing it. Yeah. It rarely is worth it. Especially if it involves an 8-slot trailer. Like, that's the big construction rig is probably equivalent to a normal semi-trailer in terms of length. Maybe a bit longer. More like a 6 slot or something. What was I gonna say? Yeah, and those big rigs were iffy on some of the bends on the windy road in Smithville. So yeah. It's interesting that I still have a stream elements thing. I'm getting even more confused. Not that anyone seems to use the magic 8-ball thing ever. I thought it would be kind of fun. In my early streaming days, harken back to times where it was like kind of a thing to have all kinds of mini games in your stream and like gambling mini games and stuff. Okay, this is not that difficult. We can do this. I am not sure which type of winch I currently have equipped. I hope it's the heavier one. It might not be the heavier one. Okay. This will take some winching. So low gear, winch and move at the same time. Go slowly. Keep your eyes forwards as much as you can. Low gear minus. Okay. Dude. You'd be forgiven to think I've gotten better at this game. I could not have timed that better if I tried. Yeah. It's rather unfortunate. I don't know if I can... I don't know if I want to risk using the crane. I can't really move from here. Although... this should be fine if it can lift the thing. Handbrake, crane, anchor. This isn't hopeless. Whoa, camera. Yeah, the thing is I can't extend the winch or the crane far enough to get the container onto the bed. Come on, guy. Oh, really? Not sure I knew that. The question is, can I pack it now? Yes, okay. Good tip, thank you. Let's try and not repeat what we just did. Is that where you tipped as well? Or was it on the first, like that right angle? Okay. Very bouncy. Not a fan of that. Oh yeah. I know the spot. Okay. Still better than the first try. And actually I've been trying to you know, ingrain the habits of taking screenshots just for the thumbnails. So I use the same generic thumbnail during the stream, and then afterwards eventually I change them. Something like that. It's getting pretty hot in here. I have to close the window because it's dark outside, and if I would have it like either I would have to sit in complete darkness with the window open to not invite in more bugs than necessary, or I have to have the light on and not kill my eyesight even more. But then I have to have the window closed to keep out the bugs. While I casually smash my truck. And also it's raining on and off, so okay, this didn't strike me as a place where you could easily tip. So now I'm getting a bit paranoid about how I should approach this. So I'd say straight through there. Stupid trees. Definitely not through there and around. Is this the stupid way to go? No. Oh. Okay. Deceptively easy. I am going the right way, aren't I? Yeah, northern gate to Smithville. For a moment I was thinking if it would be much more difficult to go through Island Lake. I think that's also valid until you get to the bit where you have to go up to the quarry. And especially getting past the quarry. Yeah. Makes sense that you would try that. I guess I've learned enough about SnowRunner that's wide and, or you know, a wide path with water, some winch points, and like level path is usually preferable to what is considered the actual path. Especially if the actual path has any kind of slant to it or big rocks or a tight turn. Right, yeah. Okay. I need a drink. As my wife maybe replied. She will be later. Only dessert now. And then still the first dance and the party. So yeah, we might be able to finish this this contract. I have actual sweat stains on my pants from where my arms are resting on my legs. Just like when you stay on the toilet too long, watching stuff on your phone. I'm sure that's relatable. I hope that's relatable to some people. Quickly gonna try something. The temps are GPU 58 degrees, GPU memory 79, CPU 71-ish, GPU 259. It's pretty acceptable still. Maybe it's better if I don't have that, you know, it's just an overlay from the AMD Adrenaline software thing. Which I was thinking to have permanently visible on my second monitor so it doesn't cover my game. But it's very safe to say that if it is, or if it were permanently visible, I would check it all the time. So actually, it probably is smarter to just check it on and off, or check it once in a while. Now that I figured out there is a hotkey for it, where you can quickly show and hide it. I'm starting to feel it in my back just a bit. Sitting pretty much motionless for over 7 hours. It's not exactly healthy. But I do lose track of time very easily during these streams. Like, it's pretty difficult to only do like even a 2-hour stream. Very quickly turns into 3 hours which I don't always have. Although I am thinking, like, no promises whatsoever, but I am thinking if it would be a good idea to stream in the evenings on weekdays a bit more often, but then much shorter, most likely. Hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe even just 1 hour. But I think that will eat into my recording time very quickly. And as much as there's nothing really stopping me from only streaming, I'm not sure that's the route I want to take. Because at first, I mean, boring channel lore, but initially the plan was just to stream once a week or once every other week and not really make them ASMR centered. Like, I was very self-conscious about, and I still am to an extent, about doing my video voice, so to speak, live on stream. But it seems quite a few people seem to think that my streams still count as ASMR, which is nice. Even though I focus way less on how I talk, I just talk how I talk normally. Which to some people, to many people probably, if you would ask them, is still kind of soft-spoken. Because I don't hype myself up as much as most YouTubers, streamers tend to do. It's kind of an unspoken and even a spoken agreement that YouTube videos and streams on whichever platform have to be bigger in some way, like more exaggerated in how you talk, because otherwise it doesn't come across, which I do understand and I agree with. It's just not really something I'm ever able to do convincingly. And if I do, I just feel stupid. Okay. You were right that it's pretty easy as soon as you're on main roads. Not that I was questioning that. Okay, it's one of two. No, don't load anything. Yo. now exactly the same one more time. Preferably as incident free as the first time. I'm kind of expecting that now I will get stuck or worse on the first, like that tight turn. I feel like there was a mosquito on my face. Like I won't mess up in the same spot as the first time, but I will still mess up in a different spot. That's my prediction. Where was my Transtar? Oh. Right. Okay, quick top up if there's anything left. More YouTube technical talk, but like considering how relatively well the streams are going, I'm pleased with how many people usually watch during or after. Which does make me wonder if I'm greatly overcomplicating my normal videos. Because I record usually for an hour and a half or so per video. Then I edit that down to ideally less than an hour, which I suppose says a lot about how interesting my videos are before editing. Again, trying to think what point I'm trying to make. But it does make me wonder, like I said, if I'm doing too much to the videos. Especially lengthwise, because I tend to edit out most of the dead air, so to speak. Still some rumblings in the sky, aka thunder. Don't know why I tried to sound so poetic. Yeah, just thoughts. As I understand, people, at least for my kind of videos, people tend to prefer less editing based on multiple polls I've done in the last year or so. Not that many people vote, but there's always a pretty strong majority in favor of less editing. But I still feel some pressure to make my videos as engaging as possible by just having less silence and more, not even highlights, just more action, so to speak. Maybe that's entirely the wrong reflex. I really feel like I'm getting stung by something. I'm sure there is at least one mosquito in the room present with us. I mean, with me. I tend to talk in terms of us, just for inclusion's sake. But really, in the physical space, it's just me and mosquitoes. And maybe one cat, although I think she went down. And rightfully so, because it's not exactly comfortable up here. So yeah, definitely, if we can pull this off and finish this contract, that's gonna do it for today. Mind you, it can still take, and probably will take, like 40 minutes or so. Yeah. They're always there earlier than you expect. I mean, earlier in the year. And they stay around till later in the year than you expect. It's like even in the middle of winter, like January, occasionally there would still be a single mosquito somewhere in the room, just hibernating. I'm wondering if you can hear that, but I guess not, because it's not really triggering the meter as such in OBS. I mean, if you can hear the thunder. I think after the stream I'll just go sit downstairs for a bit, maybe until Anna gets home, and have the window open upstairs and pray that not many things from outside will make their residence inside. Limonka just showed up. I should not look anywhere but the screen if I'm holding R2. Go back downstairs, Limonka. It's way too hot here. And don't even think about jumping on my lap, because then I'll melt for sure. She's generally the clingy one of the two. no, not beacons. I never really use beacons. Maybe I'll turn them on after we load the second thing. Yeah. No reason not to take this path in this direction. It should be easier. And it was very easy with container. I wish I could, like, oops, not winch. I wish I could program how I did it the first time, at least for the second tricky bit. The first one, I mean. The one where I didn't get stuck. Let's turn on my private sun. Kind of a problem sometimes, actually, having too much light on the front. Especially when there's a lot of road signs, they glare like crazy. Okay, so I'm not even really sure how I should make this turn without tipping over to the right or left in the other direction. Because either you go through the puddle to be like, either you tip to the left the way we did previously, but if you go too far to the right, then you're kind of off the road on that side, which I feel is much worse. Terrible. Arguably worse. Okay. Right. Second thing. I'm gonna skip till daytime because I don't want to do this in the dark. It's exactly the same thing. Just go up as far as you can, turn as far as you can without leaning off to the right. As it starts to rain again. Something without winching is preposterous. So I guess I have to go more to the left, so I physically can't roll over. Yeah. Nice. Just take it slow because this is very sideways. I know I said I shouldn't look away, but at a snail's pace, I will allow myself to look away from the screen. Let's try and not mess up in an easier, like, in a more embarrassing spot where I shouldn't mess up. Because that first bit, it's kind of expected that that stuff happens there. But from this point, if we do get into a situation, it's just embarrassing. Not a huge fan of this rain. I feel like my attitude, and this is very overanalyzing myself again, but I feel like my attitude towards bad weather has changed ever since I lived alone, or, you know, not in the parental home. Because when you're really young and you live with your parents, like, you don't have to care about any damages or like leaks or whatever. But if you're living like independently, that all starts to be a bit of a concern sometimes. And we have had one pretty big leak, not in the main building. That sounds like we live in a mansion, which we don't, but we have like one tiny space behind the house where the laundry machine is, and like some you know, it's mostly a laundry room. There was a leak there last year in the ceiling, just straight in the middle of the ceiling, after which the whole roof of that structure needed to be replaced. Not at our expense, luckily, because we're renting. But it was kind of stressful. And in the actual house, like in the window here in the bedroom, sometimes some water comes through, but not always, rarely even, but it's not ideal if water from outside finds a way inside. Okay, final stretch. Very long stretch, but it is the final one. And then I'll have to check, because I forget what we have to do for that last contract. The super order. I know it's a lot. I'm guessing just a lot of different stuff from different places to different places. Which always sounds worse than it is. It's just many relatively easy deliveries. I tend to prefer that over the big deliveries, depending on which one it is, because sometimes big deliveries are pretty easy and kind of cool, because it's fun to haul around massive things. I'm not gonna make that a pants innuendo. But I guess I just did. And I guess there goes my plan of going downstairs and opening the window here, because if it's gonna rain on and off like it has been, I'm not gonna go upstairs to open and close the window every time it starts raining or stops. I'd prefer to be fully on the bridge. No, 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 no. Son of a bitch. I don't dare to release the winch because I'll surely just flop. Stop winching. Why am I accidentally winching all the time? It's gonna be tricky to reverse from here, so I guess we're just going forwards all the way in the mud. Low gear. Slow as you like. Low gear minus. Even. Okay. I didn't mean to winch the way I did, but it ended up saving the situation. Also, pointless but kind of relevant fact to the weather discussion. We have like a double patio door downstairs from the living room to the patio. The outside small tiny place. And sometimes I don't know what causes it, why it happens sometimes and it doesn't other times. But sometimes if it's really pouring and the water can't drain fast enough through the wood planks and like the drains, sometimes water comes in under the door, just a bit, not much, but we have a lot of stuff there. More than we should have, because we're a bit messy. Apparently, when the previous people lived here, and just after they moved in, they had like a big puddle all the way from those doors through the living room, through the kitchen, almost to the front door, I think is what they said. Because then the house was just renovated, had just been renovated, and they forgot to put the little rubber things, whatever they're called, grommets, or maybe they didn't put those under the door, so there was a gap, and the living room floor is level with the outside. It's not like there's a small step or something, or any kind of step. So yeah, that must have been fun. Okay, now really getting to the final stretch. I thought this was the last bend. Maybe for... I started talking, then I started reconsidering. I would like to use the TranStar for at least one actual delivery, and not just as a fuel truck. I kind of forget what it's capable of. Like, I forget if it has all-wheel drive and or diff locks. I think it does have raised suspension already, but still relatively small wheels. But I know from what other people have said mostly, but I know that it can do actual work. You just have to know how to use it a bit more than, well, off-road capable trucks, like off-road designed trucks. Yeah, we'll think about that when the time comes. Second thing done. Rank 17. 14k. It's nice. How much do we have? 108k. Good stuff. I'm quickly gonna check what this involves, just so I know for next time, even though I'll forget. To the logistics base: 1 fuel, 1 consumables, 1 parts, 1 planks. These are planks. Hello, Siabonga Molefe. I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. Service parts are here. Where do you get fuel? From the fuel station, obviously. So that's pretty straightforward. Consumables here. There are still service parts here. What are you doing? Getting close to finishing the stream, actually. Just checking what I will have to do next time, because this is... It's not a big contract as such, it's just a lot of smallish contracts into one big one. I'm not sure what you mean by grinding as opposed to doing something. In my mind, that's the same thing. So yeah, one thing from here, there. These are wood planks. I could just take them from here, but I would have to most likely attach a truck first so I can unpack all this, which is not ideal. Could I maybe get wood planks somewhere here? Yeah, Maybe that's the solution. So yeah. And then the other things... Log Station, Island Lake, Old House. There. Just vehicle parts, fuel. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I shouldn't check all the next parts, stages, just yet, because it doesn't really matter and they're all different anyway. So definitely just one plank from here, one fuel, one parts, one consumables. And then I think you could just take all of that on one semi-trailer around this way. You can also get fuel here. Doesn't really matter much. So yeah, it sounds like a lot. It's actually pretty doable, so we'll pick up there next time. But that's definitely going to be it for now. 8 hours of streaming today. Chill if you're still here. Thank you for hanging out as always. It was fun. Might be a few more, might be a bit more streaming tomorrow if possible. We'll see. As the storm rages on. Okay, thank you for watching. Yeah, no worries. I hope it's as fun for you as it is for me, because I'm... Jesus, big thunder. Because I'm playing the game, I'm just trying to make it entertaining for you as well. Or if anything, just chill. I'm not gonna do all that much anymore because it's already past 11. Just gonna hang on the couch for a bit and hope for this storm to pass. Ramble, ramble. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.